Well, well, well. Welcome back to another CBB talk. What a weekend of college basketball we had. And I'm going to be talking weird because I got a band-aid on my face. Yeah, that's what happens when you're trying to clean yourself up before a podcast and you nick yourself and I'm bleeding. So hopefully it's going to stop. But I can't really move my chin as much as I want to. So hopefully it doesn't affect this podcast at all. I just want to, get the elephant out of the room. Just want to get the elephant out of the room. So, man, we had a crazy week in college basketball. 4 new teams enter my top 25 one. Because that's the real top 25 because we don't take the AP poll seriously whatsoever. And man, the Mountain West looks elite, and some fraudulent teams may have been exposed over this weekend. Let's talk about it. Wow, we're gonna lot to talk about. Let's talk about I think the biggest some of the biggest stories here is just some fraudulence, and I'm just gonna call it my fraudulence right now. Texas, I was a believer. You lose at home to Texas Tech. Texas Tech has been owning you as a program recently. They've been dominant, and they did it again here. Somehow Texas is in the AP poll. I moved them completely out of my poll. They got no quad one wins, no quality wins whatsoever. They took a home loss to a Texas Tech team who's getting on my radar now. I see you, Texas Tech. You're almost in my top 25. I have Nevada barely over you. And yes, I have FAU still ranked because of their wins. And I know, I'm probably an idiot for having FAU at 24. I still have holding on some hope there in the Owls, but I completely understand if you want to call me an idiot and having them ranked. Yeah. Texas, you're my fraudulent. BYU, never high on BYU. I think they're proving their fraudulent candidate there. They lose to Cincinnati, who could have also been fraud. Cincinnati gets a good win there. Both those teams still on my radar. BYU over Texas for sure. JMU, I can't call my Dukes of frauds. I got my purple one for Washington tonight. Just want to let you know that's where my allegiance is out for tonight. Michael Penix. He's been dropping dimes. I hope he does some more against Michigan tonight. That's my pick, is Washington. JMU, tough loss to a decent Southern Miss team on the road there. I think they're still a Sun Belt favorite, but to be this undefeated that long, it's impressive from the Dukes. And they're not ranked anymore, rightfully so, but they're still a good team. And then Ole Miss knew they were frauds pretty much. Had to respect the resume, but they got blitzed against Tennessee. I mean, on the road, tough place to play. They got blitzed there. Tennessee's legit team. So let's get into some specific results as I take a quick break. All right, so let's get into the results. This is going to be in chronological order. Seton Hall has beat Marquette. Seton Hall's building up a very interesting resume there. They're a fringe top 25 team, not in my eyes because of the losses, but look, now they're tied for the lead in the Big East 4 games into conference play, with wins against a good Providence team. Without Bryce Hopkins, I don't know how good they really are. This sucks for Providence there. And then again, a win just now against Marquette and a win over UConn. So they have beat 3 of the best teams in the Big East. And man, Marquette is just a real weird team. I dropped Marquette down to 18th in the rankings there. I do think Marquette's still a good team, but they haven't lived up to the preseason hype there. Osu Ighodaro, 22 in this one. Very good game from Marquette. And Seton Hall, Sheeneen Holloway's done an amazing job. Kamari Richmond is a very, very good player there. He had 21 in this one. Dawes, 23 in this one, 4 for 5 from 3. They were hot. They really relied on him and Ade. Sorry, what's his name? Ade what? Ade Wusu. Sorry. They really relied on them 3 players a lot, especially down the stretch of games there. And Marquette, and when Cam Jones goes 3 for 10 from 3, David Joplin 3 for 8, they need those players to be better. Tyler Kulik only 5 points, 1 for 6 from the field. So they're going to need their guards to be better because that's where they rely on a lot. Sean Jones came in and been really good so far in his return from injury, still in a little bit of a minute restriction there. But yeah, 11 points from the bench, 9 of them from Sean Jones. I think Marquette is going to be fine. But now that's their second loss in Big East play, and they so far have not lived up to the preseason hype. But I think they can still win the Big East there. It's wide open this year. South Carolina, they're a good, legit team there. Mechie Johnson's been really good this year. He had 24 in this one. You caught my eye Gamecocks. I think you could be a legit contender in the SEC this year. One loss only to Clemson this season. I got them a couple spots outside my top 25. UNC, man. I talked about this UNC team in pretty much the last couple episodes because they've gone through a tough schedule, and this game confirmed to me UNC is legit a team that can win a national championship. This team is better than the team that made the Final Four. This team is better than last year's team. They're a complete team here, and they don't rely on Armando Bacot or RJ Davis in these last couple of days. And both of them had good ones in this one, but they're a really good defensive team, which is usually not what Carolina basketball is. They're usually up and down, fast pace. But they gave really big trouble to PJ Hall in this one. Only 10 points from PJ Hall. Mondo Bacot was amazing defensively in this one. They're a deep team too. Seth Trimble, Jalen Washington. They have guys that can play big mans off the bat. Wojcik, the transfer, I believe he's from an Ivy League school, I think, or like a nice academic school. I can't remember. But Harrison Ingram, he's a bulldog there. Pitbull, I think is his nickname. He didn't have a great one in this one, but he shows great defensive ability, athletic guy. Cormac Ryan can shoot three. RJ Davis, you know what he can do. Bacot's going to be a consistent double-double guy. This Carolina team is very, very good. They're going to be scary. I got them moved up to number 7. And on the other end, Clemson, 0-2 week for the Tigers there. Tough. They play Miami on the road and home against UNC. 2 understandable losses. I dropped Clemson down to 21 in my rankings there. That's 5th in the ACC because another team that I'll talk to making their way up, a team that I was a little high on last week and seems so far to be right. Clemson, I think Clemson's still a good team here. They've gone through a tough part of their schedule. If they can get some easier wins in the upcoming weeks would be nice. I don't know if they can win this conference because I think we have 2 really good teams in the ACC and the Blue Bloods, UNC and Duke. But Clemson's still a good team. Just didn't shoot the ball well, couldn't get any easy baskets there. And they were just always trailing this whole game. They could never get a lead in this one. And UNC, great road win. UNC is legit. Right now, I think they're the best in the ACC. Kentucky, another team that's legit. The Blue Bloods are coming this year. And they've proven that the Blue Bloods, the traditional powers, are back. Kentucky with a nice 2-point win on the road against a good Florida team. They were underdogs in this one. It didn't matter. I have Kentucky ranked 4th in the nation here. Because they just have so much talent here. And this is a tough place, a back and forth. They're down 8 points at half, and they're a resilient team here. Antonio Reeves, 19. DJ Wagner, 14. Trey Mitchell all around the court with 12. Aaron Bradshaw hit clutch free throws down the stretch, hit a midi jumper. He's came into his own there. Reed Shepherd doing Reed Shepherd things, 14. Almost sold the game at the end with that foul, but 14 points from him. Again, they have really good depth. They don't even have the hero playing anymore, but Rob Dillingham, he comes in and he had a bad game in this one and it didn't matter. And I think I watched this Florida game. I'm watching this, and I think this Florida team has potential to be a NCAA tournament team, but Kentucky's proven to be legit. And again, what I've been saying this whole year, it's a classic Kentucky team. This feels like a good Kentucky team. Different vibes from the last couple years with Kentucky. I think this team has potential to be a Final Four national championship team. I think I got them 4th in the nation right now because they have so much talent there. And then the number 1 player in the nation, Justin Edwards, being just a average role player for this team, he's probably been like the 5th best freshman so far. So it's just crazy to see how deep and good this Kentucky team is. Will Clayton had a big game, 23 in this one. Did chuck a lot of threes there. Poulin also had 23. They really Florida was hitting shots in that first half, and Kentucky just wasn't keeping up with Florida there. But second half, those shots started to miss. Kentucky came back and played really good down the stretch there. And to score 50 in the second half and win on the road in a good environment in Gainesville proved to me that what I was thinking about Kentucky is true, is that they're the SEC favorite in my opinion there. But there's another good team in Knoxville that would want to say otherwise. Rick Pitino, I see you. 10-point win on the road against Nova there. Joel Soriano, 22 in this one. The big man for St. John's there. Nice upset win. Again, no Justin Moore in this one for Villanova. It didn't matter. Oh, it did matter. I'm sorry. Didn't matter for the Johnnies. This Johnny's team, man, Rick Pitino is just a great coach. You can see it. Go off to a slower start to the year, but now they're tied for first in Big East play, 3-1. So is Nova, but you would love to win home games for Villanova here. Man, a great start, 4-0 in the conference. Probably could have got a ranking, and then you just lose a home game. This Villanova team is a little bipolar, and we've seen that a lot this year with higher end teams. Villanova, started looking like they were back on track after losing some weird games earlier in the year. They take a tough loss here to St. John's. And again, some of these teams that have a lot of transfers take time to get going. And St. John's might have been one of them. Can they hit their stride and be an NCAA tournament team? I think so. You've got my attention, Rick Pitino. Let's see what you can do in the upcoming weeks here. And if you can stay on top of the Big East, that would be very, very impressive. What do I want to say about Auburn is that I was wrong on Auburn this year. Didn't like this team really at all coming into the year. Was so low on them, all the way through the beginning of the year. They've proven to be really good. I got to move up to 16th in the nation here. That's 8 spots. The 3 teams moved up 8 spots with San Diego State, Auburn, and Wisconsin because we had a lot of losses this week. And those are teams I was low on. But Auburn, man, they just won by 32 in Bud Walton, a place that's usually impossible to win at. I was completely wrong in Arkansas, and I was a little wrong in Auburn. Auburn's really good. They can win the SEC. I think they're the 3rd best team in the SEC. Arkansas, I just don't see them being a tournament team. Their only good win is against Duke at home. But yeah, Auburn, really good team. They're deep. They're experienced. They're older. Well coached, obviously. Bruce Pearl does that, but they also have freshman players like Aiden Holloway there. Trey Donaldson, 12 on the bench. Baker, 16 off the bench. And then John A. Broome, the star player last year at 14. This is a really good Auburn team. Again, I probably was not the smartest guy to be doubting a Bruce Pearl-led team, and they're proving me wrong here. Arkansas, on the other hand, tough year for Eric Musselman. They went through the transfer portal a lot. Last year they made a Sweet 16 with that freshman-led group. This year they rely more on transfers. So far, not working out. I wonder if that will change the future philosophy for Eric Musselman, as they are now 9-5 on the year. They're going to have to do some work to be a tournament team. Before I get some more games, I want to shout out Xavier Lee from Princeton. Had 33 against Harvard. I had Princeton ranked at one point of the year. They have 1 loss, and it's the St. Joe's on the road. Princeton, the Ivy League favorite there. A team that made a Sweet 16 last year, would not want to play them again. They're really, really good out there in the Ivy League. Providence takes another loss to Creighton. Look, here's the thing about Providence is they're clearly just not the same team as they were with Bryce Hopkins. Providence gave him a good fight there. Dev Carter had a double-double with 25 points there. Brian Kalkbrenner had a double-double with 22 points. Creighton, I think I don't know if Creighton's going to get to that elite level that we expected preseason, but they're going to be a tournament team. They're going to contend in the Big East there. And come tournament time, we saw them last year step up their play. I believe they can again this year. But I do not know if they're going to be a top 3 seed in this tournament like we expected them to be this year. But again, the Big East wide open to start the year out. It's going to be one of the most exciting leagues from top to bottom, because really besides DePaul, all these teams are competitive. The most controversial result of the weekend was TCU and Kansas. Man. I'm going to give my 2 cents about it. That was probably not a flagrant foul on Hunter Dickinson. If you don't know what happened, Kansas is down 2 with about a minute left. They try to get a pass into Dickinson at around the free throw line. Ernest Uday, former Jayhawk, crazy, tries to steal the ball, gets it, and his other hand goes back, hits Hunter Dickinson in the face. Hunter Dickinson plays it up, obviously. They stop the fast break, call flagrant on Ernest Uday. They get 2 free throws, end up going down 2 before they get the ball next. And that was probably the reason they lost the game. And what Gary Parrish said today on the Eye on College Basketball podcast, he said something that I was exactly thinking, and it was that this was a classic Kansas game, a game where they don't play great at home against a team that's not as good as them. It's close, and they end up pulling it out. And yeah, they're a well-coached team. Bill Self, Hunter Dickinson, 30. I mean, he's the dude there. Hate him as much as you want. He's undeniably good. Same thing with Zach Edey there. Yeah, Kansas, really good team. Kevin McCullough, Devon Harris. I have him ranked 2 just because Houston's look dominant. I just want to see Houston play a good Big 12 team to prove them to be number 2. If they go if they go win Tuesday night at Iowa State, they will be ranked number 2. Mark my words. But right now, I gotta respect Bill Self and the Jayhawks there. TCU was looking for a signature win. They played good, couldn't get it. They're going to be a bubble team this year. I expect. Tennyson, 24 in this one. Jameer Nelson had a good game. Avery Anderson off the bench had some good moments there. But a good win for Kansas. A win for Kansas. Controversial, but a win's a win. At the end of the day, the net rankings aren't going to bring controversy. Quad 1 wins won't do that. So a win for Kansas. And avoids an upset home there. But a classic Kansas game there. It looked like a good environment on CBS. That was a very good game. Virginia's trash. Non-tournament team this year, I don't think. Hasn't really had 18, but they get trounced at NC State there. NC State's got a big game on Wednesday against their crosstown rivals, UNC. That's going to be a lot of talk in my neck of the woods there. Should be a good game. NC State could be a tournament team there, but they're going to have to finish top 4, top 5 in the ACC play for that to happen. Yep, we already talked about Houston Trouts is the trashy West Virginia team. They're the last unbeaten left. I was wrong. I said there's going to be 2 after this weekend. There is only 1 now, and that's the Houston Cougars. In their first year in the Big 12, got their first Big 12 win at home against West Virginia. The other ACC team I was talking about, who I got ranked 3rd out of all the ACC teams, is a team that I had honorable mentioned in my top 3 just a week ago. It's the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, man. Sorry, my nose is so itchy right now for some reason. All right. I'm surprised. This team builds through the portal. Hunter Salas, Boopy Miller, Efton Reed, and then they do have some people that returned. And Steve Forbes, right? That's his name. Steve Forbes has created a program here who they've had decent years last couple years and just fell short of the tournament, have been NIT teams. And they got an OT win against a good Miami team. They won a 9-game win streak. They're playing really well. They're undefeated so far in ACC play. And I think this is the year the Demons will break through and be a tournament team. They've been so close the last couple of years. I think this is the year. Miami, this is a fine loss for Miami. They were down 7.5 or 9. Sorry. Yeah, 7.5. And they ended up tying it, going in OT and losing the close one. George, the rookie, had 21. The freshman, 21 this one. Boobie Miller, big 27 game for him. I think I like both of these teams still. Miami, 1-1 in a week. You would take that going in. The win against Clemson, then losing a tough one to Wake Forest on the road. Wake Forest. Let's keep this momentum going, because right now you can be a contender in the ACC. North Carolina basketball right now is at an all-time high because UNC, Duke, they're both elite. Wake Forest and NC State are good. We could see 5, potentially 6 North Carolina teams make the tournament because App State's a contender in the Sun Belt this year. They beat Auburn. Just want to let you know, UNCW's beat Kentucky, but they're not. They're actually not playing good in CAA play. But North Carolina basketball looking good this year. Wake Forest, a team that's usually not in that conversation. North Carolina basketball right now, they're undefeated in the ACC. Wisconsin, they're a really good team. Again, a team that had probably underrated most of the year. Had them 17 over Marquette. They've beat Marquette. They might be the second best team in the Big Ten. I still think Illinois is good. I moved Illinois to 8. They're 8th right now. After that loss to Purdue, that's not a bad loss. It's not a bad loss. You're expected to lose Purdue. Baylor got a nice road win against an average Oklahoma State team. Was an OT, yes, but it was a come from behind win there. They were leading at half. Oklahoma State took the lead in the second half. Good comeback from Baylor there. Ray J. Dennis had 18. And yeah, the Bears, they're going to be a contender in the Big 12 there. I got them 14th in the nation. Again, they do have that good win over Auburn to start the year. And they went through a 2-game skid, but they've come back and now won a couple in a row. Yep, we've already talked about JMU lost to Southern Miss there. A terrible shooting performance from the Dukes. We're just too big of a deficit in the first half to come back from. Terrence Edwards really struggled in that one. Bama survived an upset against Vanderbilt. Bama's like 5th in the net. It's crazy. They're 5th in the net, and they're 9-5, 10-5. I don't understand it. What other? FAU lost to Sharp. I mean, FAU is bipolar. They're just a bipolar team. They beat Arizona, then they lose to Florida Gulf Coast, and then they get another win, and then they lose to Charlotte on the road. They're not a road team. They do not play well on the road. I have them ranked tentatively, but if a team goes out there and gets a good win, I'm not scared to take them out. Let me know if you think I'm a dummy for keeping FAU ranked, because at the potential they beat Arizona. They've won some good games this year, but then they lost to Bryant. They lost to Florida Gulf Coast and Charlotte. Ugh. That's bad. They have one good loss all year at State Illinois, and they have some bad losses. They have some real bad losses. San Diego State looking good there. Could be the best team in the Mountain West. We'll see. And App State did lose this weekend, but only by 4. Duke survived against Notre Dame. Oklahoma beat maybe a fraudulent Iowa State team. Oklahoma's good. I got Oklahoma ranked 12th in the nation. One loss, it's to North Carolina. In Charlotte, it's practically a road game there. We already talked about Tennessee's dominant performance. Joseph Idu had like 18 or 16 in the first half. Finishes with a double, 24 points. This Tennessee team is just different than the previous Tennessee teams. They can score, which has been a problem the last couple of years. And so far, their offense has been really good. Of course, they're still a great defensive team here. Can they get done in the tournament and get past the Sweet 16, which they failed to do yet under Rick Barnes? But so far, Tennessee looks really, really good, man. Yes, they have 3 losses, but they're on a nice little win streak now. I got them 6th in the nation, and I do have them above UNC, even though they lost to UNC. But again, it was on the road there, and I still think Tennessee's really good. Tennessee is really good. Let's see. Kansas State beat UCF. That's I'm going through. Colorado lost another game to Arizona State. Arizona State's tied for first in the Pac-12 with Oregon. 2 4-0 teams. Arizona State's one of them. Colorado needs to get healthy, man, because they're hurting their resume right now. But sadly, resumes don't look at health, even though maybe the committee does. I really don't know. Indiana ended up being Ohio State. Ohio State, I had you ranked, and you just... Or did I have Ohio State ranked? I didn't. I had close to Ohio State, close to being ranked. Then you lose on the road at Indiana there. Xavier Johnson back. Malik Renew had 23. Maybe Indiana, because Xavier Johnson's back, can Indiana become a threat in the Big Ten? Don't know about that, but it's potential. Of course, I already talked about Texas Tech being Texas. Their Tyrese Hunter had 20, but Isaac's 21 in this one. Texas Tech, maybe they're legit. I don't know. This is the first really good win for the Raiders, Red Raiders. I got them just out. Could have them in. Arizona continues to dominate. They're going to win the Pac-12. Caleb Love had 23. Utah, and also had an 0-2 week there. Pac-12 just not helping themselves there. Texas A&M loses at home to LSU. Again, they go off to a slow start last year and heated up. They gotta do that again this year, because right now they're not a tournament team resume wise. Good game for Wade Taylor, had 23. Didn't matter. This average LSU team easily beats them. Outscored by 17 in that second half there. Good win for LSU. I don't think it'll matter though. More concerned about A&M. Another no result was the Mountain West. This is the craziest thing I think I've heard. Utah State apparently didn't bring back one player that played a single minute on their team from last year. When I heard that, I was like, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard. And they're 14-1. I know they got a new coach. I mean, they're good. And this is a Utah State team who usually, doesn't hang their head on the defensive end, and then they've done that. Of course, new philosophy, new coach. I think Colorado State's still really good. I think I still have them ranked ahead because again, tough place playing. I have Colorado State ranked 13th. I moved Utah State to 23. I have San Diego State 15, and Nevada's also ranked in my book 25. The Mountain West is good this year. Good. I think this is a good win for the Mountain West Conference there. That's going to be a quad win. Colorado State already has a really good resume there. I think Utah State got ranked this week. Actually, maybe not because Gonzaga and Texas are still. I don't want to talk about the AP poll, but damn, the Mountain West is just one of my most fun conferences there. It's going to be competitive. There's 5 really good teams there. Go in New Mexico. It's going to be competitive there. Good week for Colorado State. 1-1. Good win over New Mexico. Then, don't lose a tight one to Utah State there, who is good. But unbelievable coaching job. I can't remember the coach's name, but not bringing back a player that played a single minute, and now it's 14-1 there. And on top of the Mountain West. Looking good so far. Utah State kind of look like they can go back to the tournament. They were in it last year. UCLA's terrible. They're 6-9 there with a home loss to Cal. That's one of the most shocking developments this year. And then Oregon, I already mentioned, they're undefeated in Pac-12 play. They're building a nice little tournament resume there with a road win over Washington State. And then the last notable result was BYU. They might be frauds. I don't know. But Cincinnati got their first respectable win of the year, their first ever Big 12 win. Nice 11-point road win there, being down 7.5, then outscoring them by 18 in the second half. Cincinnati, I'm keeping my eye on the Bearcats here, a team that we were not sure how the new teams in the Big 12 would play. Houston right now is the last undefeated team. BYU still super high in the net, and I think they're still ranked in the AP poll. UCF is taking some time to adjust, and now Cincinnati looking like a team, a real team. They look like a real team here. Lakin had 17 this one, 2-3. Cincinnati just shot pretty well from 3, over 33%. And yeah, BYU took 43s. And they got out free throwed by 14. 43s from BYU. Yeah, you gotta hit at least. If you're shooting 40, you gotta at least hit 20, and they hit 13. That's the reason you're just gonna lose game. That's the reason you're gonna lose games. Oh, I'm talking about Big East. I remember in the early said DePaul's bad in Big East. So is Georgetown. So there's really 2 teams in the Big East that can't compete. But yeah, that was a weekend. So that was just a great weekend all around. I'll put my new top 25 in the description if you want to go check it out there. And then there's nothing tonight because of the Natty on. Again, give me Washington that one. And then I gotta go. Let's go check out. I guess Tuesday does have some good games. Tuesday really does have some good games. So, here, let's look at Tuesday. Again, Houston. I already said Houston's going at Iowa State. That line's opened up at 3.5. Houston wins this game. They'll be number 2 in the nation. I promise. Missouri's going at Kentucky. Should be easy win for Kentucky there. But don't want to have a stinker after having a nice road win earlier in the week. Texas at Cincinnati. Cincinnati win this game. You could be ranked. You could be ranked by Wednesday. And by the Wednesday in the episode, Texas, I can't believe they're in the AP poll, but Texas, get a win. Get a win. Don't want to fall into Big 12 play there. Cincinnati, their first home Big 12 game, coming off a really good win at BYU. Can they go to get a nice little 2-game win streak going in the Big East? This would be probably another quad 1 win. And there's a lot of opportunities for those in the Big 12. Wake Forest at Florida State. Let's see if Wake Forest can keep their hot streak alive there. They're only 2.5-point favorites there. We got a ranked matchup according to the AP poll. BYU at Baylor and Waco. You never want to lose a game that you're supposed to win before when you're supposed to lose, the famous Gary Parrish said. And I think I've said it before too, but it's a fact. You don't want to lose a game you're supposed to win and then go play a game you're supposed to lose because that's how you lose 2 in a row. And BYU is in that scenario here. Have to go on the road in the new Foster Pavilion in Baylor, which looks really nice. That's not going to be an easy one there. Again, Baylor, Ray J. Dennis, Jacoby Walter. This is a good team. Langston Love, Yves Misi. Really good team over there that Scott Drew has that can contend the Big 12. I it's just I don't I Baylor might I mean BYU might be frauds. They might be computer trickers. They might be frauds. Let's see how they can compete against Baylor on the road here. Gonna be just a really hard environment to go win there. BYU, you win this game, you will defeat my fraudulent accusations. Colorado State has to go on the road against a respectable Boise State team. Boise State, if there are going to be 5 teams that make it from the Mountain West, they're going to have to be that 5th team, them or Northwestern. This would be a huge resume boosting win for Boise State. Colorado State try not to avoid back-to-back road losses. Duke on the road at Pitt. Pitt doesn't have any great wins this year, but not easy to win on the road just in any environment, and especially in ACC play there. Duke having a nice little win streak going. Purdue at Nebraska should be an easy win for Purdue, I'm going to be honest. Texas A&M at Auburn, that was supposed to be a really good game. It's not. Auburn should win at home in Neville. Texas A&M, if you can somehow win this game, Texas A&M, you're going to be one of the most bipolar teams. And then, yeah, there's some decent. I mean, New Mexico is going to have an interesting game, but then Mountain West to close out that night. But no crazy interesting matchups there. So on Tuesday night, look out for Cincinnati, Texas at Cincinnati, Houston. There's some good Big 12 games, 3 good Big 12 teams, Big 12 games there. And we'll see if there's any potential upsets that we can talk about on Wednesday. But yeah, I'll put the top 25 in the description there. This is your weekend recap. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you Wednesday for hopefully some interesting news.